A few days ago, we got an update to Apex which was so crazy, one of the legends that got buffed is now the second most picked legend in the game. But before we talk about that, when the update came out, Respawn also did an AMA on Reddit and asked me anything, where they answered questions about an RE45 rework, the Peacekeeper coming back to the floor, and a Caustic rework, and a lot of people missed this, so let's get into it. The first question was, will Caustic's slow effect come back on his gas? Hopefully his traps take more time than one shot on the bottom to destroy as well. And Respawn responded by saying Caustic has been researching some new ideas that he hopes to reveal to the world soon. And following patterns from how Respawn usually hint at updates, this likely means in Season 26 we will be getting a Caustic rework. And Respawn hinted a few times at a Caustic rework, and there's a pattern amongst all the hints. As Respawn responded to another question about a Caustic buff by saying, yeah, Caustic has been researching some new ideas he hopes to reveal to the world soon. It seems he may have let a few things out of the lab early, but all will be revealed soon. So Respawn keep using the word research when talking about a Caustic buff, so I would imagine Caustic's new buff is going to have something to do with research. For this next question, Respawn actually dropped us a hint about an RE45 rework. The question was, 1. Will the Bocek get arrow ammo soon? Number 2, I've asked this before, but do you think recons and controller legends are going to get a buff? And 3, will there be a akimbo weapon soon? I'd love to have double RE45s. And the Respawn developer answered, saying they currently have no plans to change how the Bocek's ammo system works, and the weapon will still continue to take stockpiled ammo, although the developer continues to say that they are looking into new ways to replenish the ammo on the bow to address the complaints around it, but they just don't want to bring the arrow ammo type back. For question 2, they don't answer it, but for question 3 about more akimbo weapons, potentially an akimbo RE45, Respawn answer, on the topic of akimbo, for sure we want to add more akimbo weapons. Generally, like the Mozams and P20s, we want to reserve such a powerful tool like akimbo weapons for weapons we think aren't quite hitting the mark in their meta, or weapons we feel could have exciting possibilities in akimbo. The RE45 is a great suggestion, but there may be bigger plans for our little auto pistol, which is great. This pretty much confirms an RE45 rework is coming along, as I don't think they'll drop a hint like this for a simple buff, and Respawn have said they're going to be reworking more weapons, so this is another great confirmation from this thread. The next question that got asked to Respawn is a great one because I think everybody's thought it at least once this season. What is the overall goal with legend changes? Is it to have everyone viable and then have a few standout legends? Will recon and control legends have an additional class passive added to match the other 3 classes? And also, a side question, do you have any fun facts about perk pick rates? As always, I appreciate the AMAs. A Respawn developer responded by saying, thank you so much for your questions. Generally, we would love for every legend to be just as viable as another, and that was our approach for balancing for a long time, to try and push and pull legends to all be perfectly balanced. However, we found that approach was leading to more stale legend metas that didn't shake up your core experience with the game over time, so we started to take larger swings as you saw with the legend class changes, and we also got bold with those as we went. Most recently, we're trying to take a look at those learnings from the class changes and target more specific legends, especially those who may not have had as much time in the sun, and take a look to see how we could position them better in the current state of the game, as well as opening up new possible vectors for those legends to counter those at the top, just like you saw this split with Watson's new fence changes. So I'd say look forward to seeing more of your favourite legends seeing some special attention given to them soon. The recon and controller classes were some of the first we tackled in the effort to update the classes, and we learned a ton by having them go first, which helped inform us about the kinds of changes that would make a real impact to a class. Nothing to share today, but no, we're looking to make sure controllers and recons aren't left behind either. That was a very long answer from the Respawn developers, but it helped us realise that Respawn are going to just do massive changes on certain legends they want to empower, and also recon and controller will be seeing a buff, or at least a change soon. They realise that recon and controller aren't as good as the other perks, which is great because it's been a long time complaint. And if they're gonna give Caustic a rework, why not give controller a little bit of a buff too? This next answer from Respawn though is by far the most controversial at 17 downvotes. Respawn were asked, how long are you planning to force metas by over-buffing certain characters, and for how long will we endure not being able to shoot or move fighting any squad squad in the lobby because those legends have near 100% pick rate in some ranks and 50% plus everywhere else. And Respawn respond by saying, so far we've been enjoying how the recent balance shakeups have been shifting the meta pretty drastically. It's kept seasons feeling fresh and interesting, but we're also aware of the stickier legends that are staying on top, aka Ash. Our goal is to have a healthy rotation of legends that are able to be strong and breathe some new levels of fun into them, but we don't want them to remain for too long or become frustrating either. In addition to season changes, you've likely seen that we have increased the frequency of balance changes outside of the usual season and mid-season patches, and we're hoping to keep up that practice going forward so we can keep on top of problems as they come up. So essentially Respawn are making legends powerful and reworking legends to keep the game feeling fresh, but I don't think they deliberately make legends too OP and a must pick. I think just a new philosophy around buffing legends has caused the first set of buff legends to be better than before, but maybe when legends like Bloodhound, Caustic and whoever else are buffed we could see a change to this, although that's just a theory right now. Speaking of a Bloodhound buff, someone asked, is there anything for Bloodhound in the near future? As a Bloodhound main, it feels underwhelming to play them, especially with their ultimate. It just feels like a fancy stim now. And Respawn responded by saying, I'd say I can't give any specifics around current plans, but hopefully as seasons progress, you start to see the strategy we're building around balancing legends at the moment, and can know that we're trying to keep all legends in mind, and hopefully we'll have updates for them soon. So from this answer, in my opinion, this just goes back to the last point. With legend balancing right now, I think the best approach for us as fans is to trust the process, because Respawn can't rework every legend to the same power level at once. It's gonna take a while. Although that may age terribly, and if it does, please make fun of me for it next year. Although when a lot of people were asking these questions, they were asking for an Ash nerf, which we actually got a few days ago, where Respawn changed her into a skirmisher, nerfed her ultimate, and also changed her upgrades around. And it seems to have done the trick right now. People aren't complaining as much about Ash, and Respawn did make it clear in this reply about nerfing Ash that they don't just want to swing the no fun hammer when a legend is too powerful, and I think that's what they've done. So maybe with legends who in the future are fun but OP, Respawn will try to slowly balance them without just not making them fun anymore. What about the future of care package weapons though? Well, this question got an interesting answer about that. So the question was, could we ever see the Mozams and P20s be non-akimbo to nerf them? And Respawn answered, the akimbo is not only powerful, but has also become a huge identity of these weapons. Can you ever imagine using a non-akimbo P20 again? Me neither. Currently, there are no plans to remove the ability to akimbo these weapons. This person also asked, could shotguns be able to take the laser sight? It would be awesome to have. Respawn responded by saying, I mean, never say never, right? Although I'm imagining that either with better hipfire spread, and I'm terrified. And then there was another question of, is the PK coming back to the ground anytime soon? I miss it being on the floor. And Respawn responded, don't worry, the beloved shotgun will make its return to the ground next season, which confirms the PK is back on the ground next season. No idea what's replacing it. Respawn said, in general, each weapon going into the care package will stick around 2 seasons before returning to floor loot, and the Peacekeeper's time is just about up, which also confirms that Respawn are kind of aiming for a 2-season window for care package weapons, which is great. More confirmed season 26 changes. And I'm sure amongst the people watching this video there are a few Catalyst fans, and somebody asked, Catalyst hasn't seen changes for some time, and a pick rate outside of professional play has remained very low. Are changes to make her feel more impactful in casual play on the table, or is the team wary of an impact a buffed Cat could have in high level play, as she did in the past? Respawn responded by saying, similar to Watson before her updates, Catalyst is definitely someone who sees a lot more play at the high end and comp level of Apex than the lower tiers, so there's a lot of opportunity to have her appeal to a bit more of all the play levels. One interesting note is that the introduction of legend bans in competitive play has been very interesting for us on the balancing side as well. It's offered some opportunities for us to be a bit less worried about certain competitive comps, as they don't tend to stick around for very long. I don't have any changes or plans to share at the moment, but as with all our legends, we're always evaluating who's next to put our focus into. So no confirmed catalyst changes, but Respawn revealed something interesting, that because of in the ALGS, Legends bans now exist, where the most frequently played Legends are banned from being picked by all teams. It's been a lot easier to just balance Apex on a whole, as Respawn don't have to worry about the competitive side too much, which is great. And it turns out Legend bans weren't just an interesting addition to the competitive side of Apex, but also great for every single player, and I didn't consider this until I read this. But some great changes were made the other day, and you may be aware we got a patch, which brought changes to the most annoying legends like Ash, Alter, Ballistic, and also Watson, Vantage, and Revenant. And this patch was really interesting. Essentially, Ash was nerfed, Alter was nerfed, and Ballistic was nerfed. Vantage had some small buffs, Watson had some small buffs, but Revenant saw some insane buffs, and instead of me saying he's been slept on, he is not, because people are using him, and I think you should too. First, Respawn changed him to Assault, and also, Respawn changed his Tactical. The minimum pounce velocity has increased from 700 to 800, and the max velocity has increased from 1150 to 1400. Essentially, all you need to care about is that his pounce is faster all around, and it's now got improved ground detection, so guns are faster to come up. And this change, despite being relatively tiny, has made him the second most picked legend in the game now, overtaking Sparrow and only just being behind Ash, and that's because people have discovered he just feels way better. This is the change that Revenant needed, and now he's viable. And it's not a surprise that Respawn buffed Revenant, as when they buffed Vantage's Tactical, everyone said, well, this makes Revenant useless, which is no longer true. But also he was changed to an Assault legend, which additionally makes him pretty powerful, especially with stowed reload, as when you pounce, if you pounce for long enough, your guns will just reload themselves. So once again, Respawn have realised, enhanced movement and the legend becomes popular. This new direction that Apex is going in, where movement is a core part of the game, is great, and it shows people are loving it. And in the AMA, Respawn did answer a really thought-provoking question about movement. Someone said, with the shift to faster paced passive movement metas like Ash's dash and Sparrow's double jump, how do you plan on implementing universal movement for all legends in order to make them all viable? More specifically, with controller legends whose playstyle circles around holding ground compared to moving around. Respawn answered by saying, I think it's not just about always giving legends new forms of movement. That's something we've tried to see how it felt, and it just wasn't fun to play against. It's also about creating opportunities for other classes to be able to deal with those high mobility characters that makes them feel rewarded and powerful in their own way. Watson being the most recent example of this, where her fences are now a more direct line of defense against these movement characters, and we're looking at more ways that this could apply, so both sides feel like their strategies are viable and powerful against each other. We don't want more and more movement to be the only solution to fight against other movement characters, because that becomes incredibly hard to fight against or to track what's happening in the battlefield. Movement is just one of the ways we can keep the game feeling fresh. We're definitely looking at how we can lean into different vectors for keeping gameplay fresh and fun, and how legends would best fill these roles. So Respawn acknowledged that movement is great and it does help the game, but they also want to make alternate playstyles, like anti-movement, or maybe playstyles that haven't been explored in Apex yet, which is awesome. I think the future of Apex is looking pretty good. Respawn are understanding nerfing and buffing more, and actually can nerf and buff the characters in crazy ways because of the new ALGS ban system. Also, we got some confirmed changes for Season 26, and I'm sure it won't be long until we hear something about that season, so subscribe.